Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, the Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and with me are my co-hosts, Brandon Falinger.
Yep, still on a toaster. Hopefully by the end of this, the toast will be made and I can actually eat.
Boy, today's anime was sure interesting, huh?
Just strap the toaster to my head, it's fine, don't worry about it. That's how I talk to people. With a toaster.
You know what they say.
And eventually I just launched toast at people.
Toast. Damn, Hotel Mario was awful.
Yes. I mean, you're stating the obvious.
Also with us, Ryan Stokely, damn it!
You fucked up. You know what they say? When in Rome, you fuck up my last name.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lawyer's, little message in the mail about being sued for this.
Yes.
And I'm sure by next week I'll be curious as to how much Ryan is suing you for. Defamation of last name.
Damn it. Okay, guys. Any news from your end? Because I don't have anything on my end.
So, 20 years ago today, the first broadcast in the U.S. of Pokemon happened.
Happy 20th to Pokemon.
Yeah.
Wait, is it the 20th? Oh, okay, yeah, no, that's right. It aired in Japan before here. That's why. I'm thinking, the 20th anniversary happened already, though.
September 8th, 1998.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I feel old.
Yeah, I thought I was, younger when it came out, but I guess not.
Gotta catch 'em all!
Dude, there's no way I was 10 years old when that came out.
I will still stand by that Battle Frontier was the best theme song. That was still the best one to me. I love that one.
I don't know what that is.
So I watched longer than you. I watched up until they changed voice actors, and it got bad.
I watched, let's see, what was the frog? One of them was a frog.
Are you talking about, was it a green frog?
It was blue?
That was all the way in, X and Y.
No.
That was a few years ago.
Hold on.
If you're talking Politoed, which is a green one, then you're looking at, Johto, I believe. I think that's when Misty got a Politoed.
It's probably the third generation of Pokemon.
Then Misty wouldn't have been there. You would have had May in there. Because we need more eye candy for the guys to watch, even though, they're 12.
Yeah, I think that's around, probably right before then, because...
Yeah, I watched the end of the third gen, which is where Battle Frontier was at the very end of that.
I don't know any brother.
Yeah, Max really should have just had a duct tape around his mouth. He got obnoxious real fast.
Every now and then, I remember I used to flip on Pokemon, not regularly, and I think I was even occasionally watching it up until... Who was after me? Was that Dawn or...
That was Dawn. Okay. I did watch that one occasionally,
Dawn.
But I watched solidly all the way through to the end of Generation 3.
Yeah, I would watch slightly more occasionally with May, and then by the time Dawn, I'm just Pokemon,
I still think Dawn's the cutest of them all, but hey, that's cute in the way of anime look. I loved her actual design. The hat, the knit-looking skirt, and the knee-high boots. I always thought that was a really cool look.
I like Pikachu. That's who I thought was cute. Still, still, besides Blastoise, my favorite Pokemon is Pikachu.
Oh man, if we're gonna talk favorites, I'm probably gonna have to go with Electivire. Which you probably don't know. That was Gen 4 where it came in. Yeah, Electabuzz got an evolved form.
Oh, really?
It's literally like an electrical Bigfoot.
So I know Electakid was the pre.
Yeah, Elekid was the pre-form,
Elekid,
then
that's-
Electabuzz, and then they added Electivire in Generation 4. And Electivire is literally, like I said, an electric Bigfoot, and it's fucking great.
I need to look him up.
Please do. He's great.
Is it large and out of focus?
I mean, that
Jet-
depends on the picture.
It's the Japanese porn.
No, that would be pixelated.
Wait, what's the name of this guy?
Electvi.
Does he have hook hands?
He does not have hook hands, no.
That's Scyther.
That would be Scyther, I believe.
Wait, now there's like one that looks like a bowl of spaghetti. Like Tangela's ultimate.
That's Tangle growth, but yeah, Tangle got an evolved form as well.
Mom's
Oh.
spaghetti.
Knees weak, arms are heavy. Alright.
Did you find him yet or no? Because I'll send you an image.
I'll just type like the Buzz evolution. Oh, neat. He has like dicks on his back.
The two tails.
Yeah, they're like exposed wires. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And speaking about character designs, I found Serena's first design better than the second design.
Serena?
Yes. The XY girl.
Her name's not Serena. I'm blanking on her name. It's fuck. Oh, what's her name? Shit, that's gonna drive me nuts. Hold on. I need to look this up. It was... Okay, no, you're right. It is Serena. Okay. I was thinking like with a TS rather than just an S.
Yeah, because I'm on like anime websites, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
that was my fuck up.
yeah, and I'm just like, huh, okay, she looks nice. And then, like 2 years later, or whatever, they would announce like new character designs. I'm like, is that the same person? Why do they change her so drastically?
Well, part of it is because X and Y became like the generation where you could actually customize your trainer character. So they wanted to guess to incorporate that into the actual anime.
Huh. Wow.
They had a fucking whale Pokemon?
Yeah, Wailord. That was in Gen 3.
They have an
Wailord
ice
and
cream
Wailmer.
Pokemon.
Unfortunately, yes.
They had a lot of weird shit.
Gen 5, in my opinion, wasn't the best. And I know people will call out, well, Gen 1 wasn't bad. What the fuck is Magnemite? To which I will respond, yes. But Magnemite is multiple things mashed together.
Yeah.
Whereas the other thing's kind of just ice cream. And how it survives, I have no fucking idea.
Which one has the fucking trash bag?
That's Gen 5 too.
Yep, yeah, that's the one where I check out. See ya.
They'll say, well, what about Grimer? It's just sludge. To which I will respond, yes. But it's not a trash bag I literally just put out to go to the dump that came to life.
Yeah, or like a pile, like a set of keys.
Like, the keys I actually am okay with because it's literally the ring. The keys itself are just what it collects.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like,
Oh,
all
I
right,
didn't
that's
know
fine.
that.
If it was the keys included, I would have an issue. But the keys are literally just an accessory that it finds and takes.
Didn't know that.
But yeah, like, if you're gonna give me a fucking trash bag that I put out that came to life, I have a problem with that. Whereas with Grimer and Muck, I'll be like, hey, it's fucking
It's
toxic sludge.
Yeah.
All right. As far as I'm concerned, that could literally be radioactive, and thus mutations occur.
Yeah, like they're literally sludge from the fucking power plant.
That's literally what I assumed. It's just it's a nuclear sludge
Cinnabar
that has
Island.
evolved to become alive.
Yeah,
Like it's mutated in that way.
exactly what it is.
And
then
don't ask
that-
me what Voltorb and Electrode are. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, they're just like,
Mimics.
Kind of, I guess. Yeah.
no, I thought they were like,
They look like Pokeballs.
God. Yeah, but they're fucking like
Angry.
positive and negative things. God damn it, my brain.
Protons and neutrons.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. I'm trying to think like what other terrible ones there were that I didn't care for. Mostly it was out of Gen 5. I felt like that was the one where it was like it kind of failed the worst. Like there were some good ones out of Gen 5. I'm I'm not gonna say they're all terrible.
So join us this weekend for Pokemon that suck.
I mean, I liked
Yeah.
Sigilyph, which was straight up just like a living Nazca line.
Really?
Like, that
Huh.
thing was cool.
What the? Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, look it up. That thing looks awesome. Like, it literally looks, it's literally just a Nazca line come to life, essentially.
I got a problem with the 3rd gen fire type Pokemon. The chick.
You don't like Torchic?
I like Torchic. I don't like the 3rd evolution.
You don't like Blaziken?
It doesn't. How does that come from a chick?
Do you not see the middle form?
No.
Combuskin?
Isn't it like a turkey?
I mean, they're like not finished chickens essentially, but I enjoyed all of those. I like those a lot. I'm surprised that one would cause you a problem.
It just looks weird.
Honestly, I didn't. Combuskin's the one that looks weirder to me than Blaziken.
It's like two giant. Actually, they're just like a dick with legs.
Yeah.
picture
Some people have
I've seen.
said that it is literally just a penis. Combuskin is literally just a penis.
Dude.
Also,
That's disturbing
Cyndaquil.
now.
Cyndaquil is a weasel. What the fuck is he?
Hedgehog.
Is he?
I think so. I think it's a hedgehog or a porcupine, one of the two.
Porcupine makes more sense. Even though I think it's the same thing.
Tomato, tomato.
I think. Or is a hedgehog a smaller?
It might be. I'm not sure.
I think the quills are softer on a
Is it-
hedgehog.
Yeah. Porcupines have like the sharp quills that'll stab you.
Alright. Let's see.
Oh, there was also Cling Clank from Gen 5, where it was just like two gears mashed together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was fine with the
yeah.
final form. The final form of that looked really cool because it added a whole bunch of shit. But like, the first two were just kind of like, well, I got a gear. Now I got a second gear that's like with the other one and not connected in any way. They're just kind of like paired up. And then we go into the final form, which has got like this freaking gyroscope look to it, which looks awesome.
The difference between a hedgehog and a porcupine is a hedgehog isn't a rodent.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
what is it? Isn't it, fuck.
Arena Samorphia.
You're talking Latin, man. Do you have like
Yep. That's
specific
I
in
can't.
English?
I'm not that smart there. Which means they're not related to porcupines at all.
Huh.
Hedgehogs share more of their lineage with shrews. They do, however, sport hair that is modified into quills for defense.
Huh.
Huh. The more you know.
Do, 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 do.
We're now an educational podcast.
Yay, we can be some award winner now for education.
Can we
Yeah.
just become Reading Rainbow? I like Reading Rainbow. It is a good theme.
We have to read. All I remember from Reading Rainbow is Casey at bat.
I just
Don't
remember that
take our
synth
word for
intro.
it.
That's all I remember.
Yeah. Classic.
Oh, man. I'm trying to think. Did I have any issues with Gen... I don't think I had any issues with Gen 3... Gen 6 Pokemon. I think I like them all for the most part.
How many Pokemon? What gen are they at now? 8? 7?
I think they're ending 7 and 8's coming like next year.
Jeez.
So I'm curious where it's
That's
going
not
to take
good.
place, because this past one was in Hawaii, essentially. Also, that one was cool in that they added, like, what is it? They added, like, they're not a form change. They're, like, a subspecies of the original,
Mm.
where, like, Muck has become, like, rainbow-colored and has, like, crystallized poison teeth,
Oh,
for
cool.
example. And it's like, oh, it's evolved with like this environment to be different. And it's like altered its typing too, so it's not just poison, it's poison dark now.
And one of Rachel's favorite Pokemon, Vulpix, is now an ice type,
Mm-hmm.
which is weird.
Wait, is can it still be fire type or?
Not in the
not in Alola region. No.
Alola.
What?
It's interesting too because they actually explain that in the decks where like normally Vulpix would have been in like a heated place like the desert, but due to like predators and other different Pokemon that came in, it got forced into the mountains and it adapted into an ice type.
Huh.
Which I do find really interesting because now you're actually giving us some environmental information where it's like, it could have been this, but you know, it got forced into this. Like we get Rattata and Raticate and they literally become dark types that get like gangster mustaches and shit. Like Rattata's a little gangster, and then you've got like the Mafia Don that is Raticate, where it just sends out little Rattata to go and get food for it. Because it's like, I'm too lazy. Go get me food. I'm fat. Look, I'm sure if you translated their speech into like English or whatever,
Japanese.
Ratatouille.
or whichever, they would have an Italian accent to go along with it. I'm positive.
Hey, I'm eating trash over here. Hey, I'm evolving over here.
And I'd like to imagine that is the case. It'd be great.
Oh, Mamma Mia. My daughter is dead. Oh, this
Goddamn
is
it, Brooke
the darkest
Beachy.
timeline.
And what are you doing here today, on the day of my daughter's wedding?
Yeah, that's definitely radical.
Okay, I think we've talked a little bit too much about Pokemon for a podcast that has nothing to do with Pokemon today.
Pokemon are fun, though.
Yes, I can't deny that.
And I also can't deny that I own every single main series game still, because I have a collection problem.
Okay, Orion, today is a movie, not a series.
Okay.
From 2006, Tekkonkinkreet.
What's that mean in English?
It's actually a mispronunciation of Tekkonkinkreet, which means steel enforced concrete in Japanese.
Is it like Tekken the game?
I think the game is Tekkken. This is Tekkin.
I don't know.
Just completely
I
lost.
can't get anything from that. They're not words that I can even draw anything from.
I think we're trying to pull blood from a stone here. I think he's got nothing.
I ain't got shit.
And first off, just for naming's sake, Brandon, did you watch it in Japanese or in English?
I found the Japanese version.
And as usual, I stuck to the English version.
This is because you're a loser. You refuse to accept the best language that you can't understand.
I know. I should listen to more Japanese dubs, but when the English dub is the first one that comes up, I'm like, English. Awesome. Click.
I'm curious why that would be, because the first link I found literally gave me the Japanese version.
I looked on GoGo Anime.
I just typed it into Google.
Which had Easter borders. It is September. Why?
Wait, it does?
No, I had to reload it halfway through because, my computer Google Chrome had to update itself or something like that. So, I had to get back into it, and the Easter borders were gone, but it was like some online Bleach game. Happy Easter! And there Ichigo was, with a egg in his hand, and some evil guy, probably from later on in the series, with the metal jaw. He had some tossing out an egg, and I'm like, what? Do you know what time of year it is?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's about time for Easter. Spring break's happening. I'm pulling at straws here. I don't fucking know.
Okay, but this follows two orphans, Kuro and Shiro, or black and white. That, as in the English dub. And
I mean, to be fair, there's a point where Black's just wearing a shirt that says Kuro on the front and Black on the back. Or no, we're sorry, that's reversed. Kuro's on the back, Black is on the front.
And they are part of the street gang known as the Cats, which
They're
is...
the only members.
Yes, which is just them. And from what I understand in reading about it a little bit, they are representative of yin and yang, since Black Koro is a little bit edgier, more violent, more compulsive. Shiro White is a little bit calmer, more childlike, and they need to work together to survive.
Essentially.
And from what I understand, like, there's a lot of orphans in this town.
Yeah, it's an old town that's been built up over years. Also, when you get a first look at it, what does it look like to you, by the way? When you get your first shot of, like, the sky, like almost an aerial shot of the town.
I was guessing, like, a old section of a metropolitan city.
Okay.
I don't really know any particulars on it. If it's like, oh, this has got to be Osaka in the Shuyu ward.
No. I'm not referencing that. No, I'm not referencing, like, real-life towns or anything. Because there are, like, buildings that you see when you get that sky shot where they've got, like, a giant gorilla beating its chest on top of the building. There's another one that has, like, a bunch of, like, what looks like child's, like, toy blocks, you know, with the letters and stuff on the sides. That's on, like, almost a, like a shish kebab stick where they spin around, right? On top of a building. The whole thing to me, and I'm kind of piggybacking this off of somebody else who said it, which I will reference after I finish my thought. It kind of looks like an upended toy chest, almost. Like, with all the decorations on all the buildings and stuff, it almost reminds you, like, somebody's taken a child's toy box and just flipped it upside down, and all these things have just kind of landed on the city.
Maybe? I thought that was more decoration to the buildings, and that's why I was kind of saying it was an older part of a metropolitan area.
Well, yeah, that's the point. It is decorations, but it kind of gets that feeling across, right?
Now that you do mention it, I can see it. I didn't see it initially watching, but interesting.
And maybe that's because I was colored by the video I watched about this when I first found out about it, which I will plug him here. Super Eye Patch Wolf. Motherfucker has a smooth-ass voice, and my god, does he do a damn good anime video. I will gladly plug his shit. He does a great fucking job.
Yay.
But, yeah, I may or may not be borrowing some phrases he's used out of his review for this. And that's just because, like, it's hard for me to kind of separate the two out anymore.
And I forget what their names were, or if they were even named in the Japanese dub, but when the movie starts, it's all about the two kids, Dusk and Dawn, and they were talking about, oh, we have to watch out for the cats, and the cats are the main characters.
Yep.
Is it like the same concept as this movie? You said there's two cats.
No, there's two kids, Dusk and Dawn, who are saying, we have to watch out for the cats. And
they've just come to the town, to Treasure Town, which is the name of this place where it all takes place in. So they're invading essentially on the cat's territory, aka Black and White.
I honestly thought you were talking about
the Broadway musical.
No, close. Actual cats.
Jesus Christ.
But I'm like, their gang is called Cats, and they're
cats.
Actual cats?
No. They're humans.
Okay. Gotcha. Alright. Onward.
So, there's a lot of mafia, yakuza, street gangs in this town.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, it seems to be more slice of life-ish?
I wouldn't say slice of life.
Coming of age?
Maybe closer to that. Maybe self-discovery. Like,
Okay.
this is from a time when, like, anime was getting a shit ton of money pumped into it, because stuff had been going really well, and it allowed animators and artists to, like, really kind of go balls to the wall with their ideas, which is kind of why this one's got an art style that's way different than you would expect for, like, something to be considered an anime.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like, if you've ever watched, like, Ed, Ed and Eddie, right? Or at least seen what it looks like, take that style, slightly make it a bit more anime, and shrink the outer, like, the outlines down to a really small degree. And you've kind of got an idea of what it looks like.
And although I can't find much about him, the writer of this movie... Oh, and the director? Really?
I was gonna say, this is also based on a manga, by the way.
Yeah, and the director and writers were both American on it, which I found just a little bit interesting in the opening credits, seeing these English-sounding names, and I'm like, whoa.
Oh,
I
man.
think this came from one of the writers of the Animatrix.
Yes, it was from at least one of the writers, if not more than one, I think. But yes, some of them at least worked on the Animatrix at one point.
And this movie seems to be, and I'll let Brandon explain more about this after I'm done, but this movie seems to be semi-realistic up to the point, halfway, and then it just gets stranger, weirder with, like, super villain Yakuza, and weird mind trips. Mostly because I was half asleep during the last 20 minutes.
Naive.
Yeah, so I didn't quite understand what was going on. But I did... What was Snake's goal? And yes, there is a guy named Snake, and no, he is not a secret agent.
He's a super soldier.
Is he a criminal?
Yes.
He's a Yakuza boss.
I don't know if he's Yakuza.
Does he have a snake tattoo on his arm?
Actually, no, which is interesting.
But his hair is kind of coiled like a snake.
Yeah, he's got like a cowlick that comes down and it's coiled. Yeah, Snake, I think, because the actual Yakuza boss, at least the boss of that section of that section of Japan, basically says this guy's a foreigner who we've learned a lot from. What it seems to me that Snake is less so a Yakuza member and more so like, how do I want to put it? Not an entrepreneur, but like a big businessman is essentially what he is. Because he wants to take Treasure Town and essentially like completely destroy it and build up an amusement park to make money out of. And the reason the Yakuza guy's interested is because Snake's had enough success with him doing this in other places that he's making so much profit, and the Yakuza guy's like, I want money, so I'm going to work with you.
And our other main character is Kimura, who gets caught up with the Yakuza.
Kimura starts off with the Yakuza. He gets caught up with Snake's plots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he starts out with the Yakuza, with his boss Rat. You know, we were just talking about mafia and rats and stuff already, but yeah, literally the boss of, like, this section of the Yakuza is called Rat. And then you have his higher up that takes care of the rest of the area.
He seems to be pretty low-level Yakuza, because he doesn't seem that threatening of a Yakuza guy.
You're talking Rat?
Kimura.
Yeah, he's low rank, I'd say. He's probably really close to the bottom rung.
Okay, that's why I thought he got caught up in Yakuza, because he's so far down.
No, like, there's a point where he ends up having to kill a Rat, where he's like, you taught me everything I knew. You saved me when I was a child, yada, yada, yada.
Mm.
There are points where it's like he's kind of lived and grown up in this environment. And Rat is one of the guys who's basically sitting there like, I don't really like this plan of, like, take down Treasure Town. And a lot of that is probably from emotional attachment to the city. Like, we get flashbacks of, like, people had, like, boys had their first time over at the brothel there, you know. You can't ignore those memories. You can't let that happen. But he also knows that he can't really fight back against the boss or it's not going to go well.
Yeah.
Plus, he's old, so, you know, he's probably just going to die anyway.
Are Snake's henchmen human?
I was going to get to that, and that's a very good question, because I have no freaking idea.
Because they can run at amazing speeds.
The one survives, like, I don't know how much of a freaking story drop.
Yeah.
In which case his head should have been caved in. Because Black ends up swinging him around and putting him so that he would land on top of the guy. And we see, like, the entire side of his face is, like, blood covered. And I'm like, all right, that probably killed him. His head should be, like, caved in from that.
He's Jason Voorhees. He's not dead.
Well, he just gets up, gets ready to stab Black. All of a sudden, White's, like, on the top of the building because he landed up there, dropping gasoline, which I don't know where he got that from, but dropping gasoline on the guy, and Black lights a match. Black manages to, like, pry himself away before the match drops and hits this guy. And I'm like, but wait, hold on. He survived a stupidly long, multiple-story drop with, like, next to no injuries aside from the fact that he's apparently bleeding profusely. But he gets lit on fire and jumps in a river, and that kills him.
Water. Water is his weakness. He is Jason Voorhees.
I'm like, wait, what? I mean, this is still cool, but what? The consistency, please. What? That's the thing, though, like, because even Black and White, which we get in the beginning, they seem to have superpowers to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
They can move around and jump way better than, like, a normal person would.
And White seems to have some kind of psychic ability.
It seems so, yeah. Like, at the very least, he and Black have some kind of, like, psychic connection, which White seems to have more control of than Black. But White ends up being, like, you know, he's childlike, he's innocent, he doesn't really see, like, what's going on, to the point where Black literally has to do everything for him, like, dress him. Like, White can't dress himself. Black has to do it for him.
Are they the same age?
I believe White is 10. I don't think we ever get an age for Black.
He seems about 14 or 15.
I would say younger.
Okay.
I would say probably, like, barely into his teens, so, like, 12 or 13 would be my guess.
Okay.
We do get, like, a picture at one point of Black and White together as little kids, so at the very least they've known each other for a while. Mm-hmm. Whether or not they're actually blood related is unknown, and I guess kind of not important, really.
Mm-hmm.
And near the end, Black seems to have some kind of power over crows?
Well, the crow was always, like, landing on his shoulder. Like, when he first got into, like, what was the guy's name? Kuruma?
Yeah.
The mafia guy? He literally standing outside his office after this Yakuza is, like, interrogating a guy called Chaco. Which, let me also put it this way, this guy doesn't fuck around. He literally cut off one of Chaco's friend's ears and sent it to him and told him to come to his office.
Both the ears.
Both ears. And I assume the guy's dead at that point, too. Because we never see him again. But, yeah, he ends up being there, like, outside the window of Chaco's place. Or not outside the window of the Yakuza's office. And he's got the crow on his shoulder there.
Isn't there one part near the end where Black has, like, a shit ton of crows.
He does, but that seems more symbolic than anything else. Like, that's at the point where he's, like, kind of losing himself, I want to say.
And we'll get a little bit more into that later.
Yeah, there is a point where Black leaves White, and it kind of mentally, leaving Black mentally unstable.
Also leaving White a little bit mentally unstable, too, in White's own way.
Yeah.
Because they need each other to make themselves whole in a heterosexual way.
Beautiful. You know what? That's beautiful. I couldn't have said it better. Oh, God. Oh, God.
And because, like, yin can't exist without yang, it seems the more they're separated, the more broken down they become.
More so with Black than with White, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the very least, White manages to hide it better. And it's even Black himself that sends White away. Like, since they're being hunted down, right, he sends White away with the cops in order to, like, keep him safe, keep him out of danger. But over, like, the course of, I think it's, like, a season, because we do get, like, the flash cuts of, like, well, now it's fall, well, now it's summer, well, now it's winter, yada, yada, yada. I think it's, like, over the course of, like, a couple months, Black just starts to mentally break down and starts being far more violent and far more crazy. In fact, like, some people are saying, like, he's out for blood. He's got bloodlust going on. And you just get flashes of him and, like, laughing hysterically and shit. Like, there's even a point where, like, I think he's talking to someone and it's, like, his skin tone has even changed so that it's, like, far more pale and washed out. Like, he almost looks sickly compared to the way he usually looks.
And one of the side things that comes to fruition near the end is the Minotaur.
Actually, you know what? Here, hold on. Let me just ask something else before we get into the Minotaur. So in Kuruma's case, or again, I keep blanking on exactly how to pronounce his name. But in his case, he's actually got a kid, right? Kimura, that's it. He knocked up his girlfriend, who I just want to ask, right? In the one scene where he and her are in bed together, right? Or, like, just before that, we get flashes of, like, her apartment and shit. And I am also pulling this from iPatchWolf. You get to see a lot about who she is just based on how her rooms look, how the apartment looks. Like, she's a seamstress at one, like, we see that she has a sewing machine there. She's a seamstress of some kind. She's got, like, she's messy, you know, she's got her clothing kind of strewn about a bit.
But not as messy as Misato.
Not as messy as Misato, no. No, there's not beer cans everywhere. However, she does smoke,
yes.
You find out. She's very playful when she talks to Kimura about, like, hey, normally I'm right on time like clockwork. This time I'm late. And he immediately realizes, oh, shit, I think, is it mine? Because later on we do find out that she works at the strip joint. But, again, there's so much detail within these backgrounds that it just takes a snapshot and you can just find so much shit going on in there. Like, even with Black and White and, like, their little hideout, we see that they've got, like, a bubblegum dispenser machine. We can see they've got an aquarium in there with a fish. They have a car that they kind of sleep in and stuff. And when I mentioned the picture about Black and White when they were younger, that was part of one of the backgrounds where it's, like, on the sun shield that comes down in order to stop the sun from, like, getting into your eyes. One of the pictures of them as little kids is up there, paperclip to that thing.
And let's just go back a few minutes about White going with the police. The police are kind of friendly towards them since they are kids.
Well, they're friendly toward them, and on top of that, they actually do work with, like, Rat and, like, the lower Yakuza. Until it gets to the point of they want to destroy our town. We're not too happy about that. And at that point, Rat can't do anything about that. This is over his head. He doesn't get the choices in this regard.
Yeah, because even in the greater scope of things, Rat's group, which I don't think had a name, it is, like, lower tier Yakuza themselves.
They're just like a district area. Like they're the ones in charge of Treasure Town itself. That's it. Like they're just that district. Whereas, his higher up, the one above Rat, is the guy that oversees everybody that's taking care of the different districts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you could say he's on a lower level, but he's still a district boss. So to a degree, he's probably the most powerful person that's living in that town. Until the boss comes in for a visit to see how things are going and says, "Hey, we're going to destroy your town. Deal with it."
But just don't worry. Everything will be okay. Just be happy.
Yeah, be happy.
Be happy. Be happy.
Which seems to be a constant thing that goes on between Black and White. It's a constant phrase they throw back and forth at each other. But yeah, we were talking about the Minotaur before, so let's get back on that.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you going to say about him?
I was going to have you explain it more because this is when I was getting just a tiny bit drowsy.
Crazy? Not quite so lucid?
Yeah, it's a little bit drowsy, crazy.
Well, this is during the point where Black's kind of mentally unstable, right? So it gets kind of unclear because as we go on, the Minotaur shows up while we have two of those superhuman assassins that are after him, coming at him. And Black's kind of broken to the point where he's carrying around a doll claiming it's White and that White's come back to him.
And supposedly the Minotaur is one of the things that Snake is after?
Maybe in the manga? As far as I know, he never mentions the Minotaur in the anime, or in the movie.
Okay, because I'm also glancing at a review of it too, the synopsis.
He never mentions the Minotaur at all, as far as I can remember. That never leaves his mouth. From what I got out of it, it seemed like the Minotaur was in fact something that people talked about, like a rumor. Because I do remember seeing generic people talking about it.
Yeah. I was conscious during that part.
They talked about it as a rumor that it's a bloodthirsty guy,
mm-hmm.
that stops at nothing to get what he wants or what have you, and maybe that's influencing Black in some way. But he starts seeing the Minotaur, and we get to a point where it's revealed that the Minotaur is in fact Black himself, or an aspect of himself. Because again, he's not mentally stable. He's seeing shit. How much is real and how much isn't, I don't know. There is a point where we get to the Minotaur, Black sitting helpless, and the Minotaur is there completely destroying the two assassins. The Minotaur comes in, smacks them upside the head, and then brings down his staff and basically pierces the guy's skull and kills the one assassin. It seems like the Minotaur in this case is Black's inner darkness, and I'm thinking that when that's happening, it's kind of like Black seeing himself from the outside. So when the Minotaur is acting, it's Black himself, and the Black that we see during that scene is literally just his normal mindset watching it happen.
Okay.
He's no longer in control. This is just something that's happening, and he doesn't recognize it as something he would do. And then we get a whole scene of this Minotaur trying to make Black permanently take on that darkness, as it was called, fall in and be willing to go that far and be that brutal.
And it kind of is slightly more than trippy.
Yeah, no, this is where we get into some crazy territory when it comes to the animation.
Third Impact.
I would say trippier.
Oh my god, yes.
Just because it gets a little nutty in the way it looks. A lot of it seems very experimental.
Not to say it's bad.
No, I'm trying to think of the word for it, and I'm blanking. For whatever reason, it starts with an S. I always have this word pop in and out of my lexicon of words to choose from because I forget about it. Surreal, that's the word.
Okay.
It's very surreal in the way it's depicted from that point forward until White, using whatever mental connection he has to Black, manages to swing him back away from being that brutal and dangerous and murderer level of crazy. But like the entire time White's doing that, he's like screaming in reality, and the cops are like, "Oh, you're okay? What's going on? I can't keep holding him down. He's gonna like hurt himself or something." And all the way leading up to that point, he was drawing like the Minotaur the entire time with like really rough crayon drawings.
Any other questions, Ryan?
Around what time period is this?
That's a good question.
It's not really clear. I know that payphones are still a major thing, so it's prior to cell phones, I would say.
Maybe the 90s?
Probably 80s. Or not even then. Like, wouldn't the Yakuza, being as powerful as they are, have, the brick cell phones then?
Because the manga, which it was based on, came out in 1993 to 1994. So, I would maybe say this was early 90s.
I wouldn't... God, we can't even say fashion, either, because I couldn't... And maybe it's just because it's Japan, based in Japan, but I can't get a good feeling of, the style of dress and clothing as far as, a time period. So maybe 90s? Maybe late 80s? I'm not sure. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
The best we get is just, what season is it?
Yeah.
Unless there's a detail in the background, like a calendar or something that I didn't notice. Which, there could very well be that.
So these kids basically they roam the streets?
Yep. They're orphans living on the streets.
They never, get a family or anything?
Nope. All they got is each other.
It just follows them.
And the occasional help with police and that old guy that...
The wise old man who's also homeless and begging for money, who's apparently a war veteran, I think.
Yes.
Assuming he was telling the truth in that and not just trying to get money.
Okay.
So it's post-World War II. I'll say that because he's a veteran. He's post-World War II. So we know that much. It's no earlier than 1945.
Well, he does look older, so I would say post-1960s.
There you go.
Well, I don't have any other questions.
Would you be interested in watching this?
It's only about 2 hours long.
I might.
Put that on your list of
the many
ever-growing anime to watch.
Yes. Yeah. Just gonna start watching every anime.
We're just gonna not see Orion for 3 months. Guys, I finally did it. I got through the list.
Huh?
Oh,
great, Orion. We got another one for you to do.
No! And I guess that about does it for this episode. And speaking about next week, hey Brandon, do you have a tendency for battling?
I might. I might also have a nice scarf to wear too.
Oh yeah. If anybody knows what that means, it'll be fun.
Part 2. Let's go.
Yeah.
Carol?
What?
Part 2 of A Christmas Carol.
You guys.
Scrooge Jr.
Oh my god. Alright, later.
See
you guys.